Alright guys, 2001 4R70W. It's out of a Mustang, and this trans did not move forward. We towed the car in, backed it into the bay, and pulled the unit out. So we're going to open this up and see what we can find. Reverse was pretty good, but no forward movement at all. Now at one point it had very, very little, but now it doesn't have anything. So we're going to open this up. Let's see what we find. Okay, so we'll start by taking everything off on the outside. This is the output speed sensor. This actually, I took the bolts out of it, but this is frozen on here, so I'm just going to leave that right on. Okay, here's your output sensor. And you know, one other thing, this is the vent for the trans, and inside here, I'm going to take this cap off. Let me see if I can get off with this screwdriver. Inside this cap there is, I could actually get a bigger one. Inside this vent, there is a screen. And if that screen becomes blocked, then the vent becomes blocked. So I always take that screen out. Okay, here's the vent cap. I'm not going to put that back on right now. So I always do this. And here is the screen that's inside the vent. Now if this thing happens for some reason or another become clogged, the screen gets clogged, then the vent is clogged. And then it'll start spewing out the filler pipe and stuff like that. So I always take that out. Alright, so we're going to flip this up, take the pan down. It looks like the R&R guy probably dropped the pan to drain it. Alright, the pan's fairly clean, and the fluid's pretty clean. I think they had tried to probably service this when it was slipping, maybe, or something like that, but the pan's fairly clean. Filter's already out of it. Probably when he had the pan down, he took the filter out. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the hardwire harness out, or maybe the conductor strip as they may call it. Okay. It is. Okay, that is the hardwire harness, conductor strip. That gets changed. Alright, next we're going to get this valve body off. Give me 1 second. Okay. All right, here is the bracket for the EPC solenoid. Closer. think that might be it. Okay. There was a screen here. All right, so we will put this aside. Here's the pass-through connector. This looks okay. Sometimes, you know, they leak through here, but this actually is pretty good. And lately, I believe there's been a shortage of these, so I'm glad the ones I've been getting in, last couple, have been okay. Okay. So now we have the 2-3 accumulator, the cover, here's the spring. Here is the piston. Alright, just gotta get my other snap ring pliers. Okay. Alright, so now I'm going to take out the 1-2 accumulator. Okay. Here's a cover, molded rubber cover. White spring. There's the piston. You want to check these because sometimes the bonding, I've seen the bonding come off of these. And another spring here. So that is the setup. That's what the setup looks like in the case for the 1-2 accumulator piston. Put that aside. Alright, now we're going to take the drive band out. Oh, not the band, the servo. Snap ring for that. Here is the piston, also a molded piston, and the spring. And one thing that I do when, after the case is clean, you got to check the bore. Because sometimes the bore wears out and the pin will be very loose in there. Then you sleeve it with the Northland sleeves like I would do with the 5R55S. Okay, this is the reverse. Here's the cover. Okay, another return spring. This is very hard. This lip seal is very hard, so this is going to get changed. And you go by the amount of grooves that you have on the shaft located in this area. You count them. This one has 3, so with 3 grooves, of course, we'll go back. Okay. I probably should have taken the tail off, but that'll be okay. All right, now we're going to get the pump out. Okay, now I'll take all of these out, and then what I do is I have my pry bar. Go back and forth. And now it comes. Okay, here's the pump. We'll open that up in a little bit. Okay, next we have the intermediate clutches and steels. Alright, these don't look too bad. Alright, now we're going to take the drums out. Overdrive band. Looks like it's burnt a little bit. We're going to change that. Reverse input drum. And we'll open these, take a fast look at them. Alright, these don't look too bad. And on this side, it has the mechanical diode. Bearing for in between the drums. Okay, now here is the forward drum. Okay, the drum does not appear to be cracked, but the clutches look like they're. The clutches are all worn down to nothing. So probably what happened with this was the piston came up too far, and more than likely these are all worn down to nothing, and more than likely the O-ring split as it was returning. But I'll open this drum up and show you, but these are all worn down to nothing, these frictions. This of course is part of the problem, and then we're probably going to find a torn lip seal in here. Okay, we have a bearing. This is the hub for the forward frictions. Bearing on each side. This is the shaft that drives the direct drum. Right here is your sun gear and shell. You want to inspect this. Make sure there's no pitting on the gears. There's a bearing here. Here's the sun gear and shaft. And also, you want to inspect this. This pit likes to pit a lot. You got a bushing here. You got two bushings here. That goes just like that. Okay, now we got a snap ring. These come out pretty easy. And then we got to get the anti-rattle clip out. That's over here on this side of the trans. Okay, that's what that looks like. Now the center support will come out. Center support with the planet. Alright, so here's the center support. Make sure this is nice and smooth here. It's where the sprag rides. Usually pretty good. Here is your low sprag. Alright, we'll put this aside. And the planet. Got a bushing in here. I like to change this one. Okay, coming out now, reverse band. Reverse band looks pretty good. Come out now, the direct drum. Okay, you have a spacer, washer, and a bearing. Here is the hub for the direct clutch. Let's open these up and see how these look. And a bearing on the back here of the direct drum. Okay, these look in pretty good shape. Not bad for a 2001. I actually got to check the mileage on this. Now I got coming out this morning a 2011 Fleet van. That's a rush job, so I'm going to get right on that. Here's a spacer. You put this in, and then the band sits on top of this. And the ring gear. This is your park. This is what holds in park. The park pull goes in here, and these holes are what the output speed sensor reads. On the later units, 04 and up, they eliminated the holes and extended these lugs. And the holes have been eliminated, so you can't interchange that. And then you have 3 sealing rings here. Here is the bearing for the case. And then you want to just make sure all the way down on the bottom where those rings ride, make sure that there are no ring grooves in the case. If there were, the case would have to be sleeved. Okay, turn this up, take the tail off. Here's the screen. That just fell out right there. Goes right in here. Okay, so now, where is my 13th socket? All right. Okay, here's the extension housing. I want to make sure the bushing is good, which it appears to be good. This is where on other cars, where the speed sensor would go. Here, so there's an O-ring behind it, so I like to change that and just make sure your bushing is good. Okay, and then you have your extension housing gasket. Now we're going to take the linkage out. Just getting okay, stuff for the linkage. Okay, so I'm going to leave this switch right on there because it's kind of frozen on here. I'll see if I can get it off after. But we have a roll pin, and then we have the nut to get the linkage out so we can move the EPC solenoid out. So I got a pair of cutting pliers. I reach in and I'll pull the pin out, but that's down pretty far. Let me get a smaller pair. See if I can get them with that. Okay, got it. Here is the roll pin for the linkage. And then I have my skinny wrench to take the nut loose. First, let's get the parking pull out. Here's the parking pull, the rod, and here is the spring. I like to keep the spring separate. I don't like to throw it here because when I'm blowing the parts off, I lost it one time, so now I keep it separate. And then we're going to knock this nut loose. Okay, then we'll spin it out by hand. I think it's a 21 millimeter skinny wrench I use on that. Here's the nut on that. Here is the linkage. Here's the other half of the linkage on the outside. And this is your EPC solenoid. This is like 98 to, I don't know, maybe, I don't know if they changed them in 04, I'm not 100% sure. But I know in '09 they went back to the soft wire harness, so it might go up to possibly '08, but I'm not 100% sure. I have to ask my parts guy. Alright, so we'll move this case out of the way. Let's get rid of some of this oil. Now what I'll do, I want to open up the pump, and then I'm just going to pause the camera for a quick sec so I can open up the forward drum and show you. More than likely we're going to find a torn seal. But let's take the pump apart first. Okay, here is the return spring for the intermediate frictions. Here's the clutch pack. Here is the piston. Okay, here is your selective washer. Now the washer usually would have a number on it. You know, they also go by color. So when you order these things, when I order this from my supplier, they go by color, but this I think probably has like a number 2 on it. So you can go by that, or parts people a lot of times go by what color they are. All right, pump gasket. Now we're going to take the bolts out. We'll take a look inside of the pump. Okay, here is your stator. Forward drum rides through here. Just make sure this is smooth. There's no ring grooves in here. You want to make sure your stator bushing here is good. You know, what I do, let me just get rid of these bolts. What I do is I put it on here and see how good it is. This is seems pretty tight. Okay, here are your pump gears. These pump gears look in real nice shape. Okay, you want to inspect the pocket, make sure there's no slag. This looks in really nice shape. Got your pump O-ring, front seal bushing. Okay, the pump bushing is going to be changed. And here, let's just pop this out quick. Okay, these are the O-rings that apply the direct clutches, and you want to make sure this area is nice and smooth. There is a bushing that rides here, and the case bushing rides on here, so you want to make sure that's nice and smooth also. Alright, now on this reverse input drum, you have this mechanical diode, and you have this snap ring that holds it in. What I do, there's a lot of times when I take these things apart, I find this snap ring pops out a lot. So Sonic's has like a spiral clip that goes in the ringland, and that seems to hold it. So this I don't even put back. And this is your mechanical diode. This feels good, and it's working okay. This also, like a spray, turns one way and locks the other way. Okay, inside here is the Belleville spring. Let me see if I can just get that out. Because that you got to inspect, that likes to crack a lot. That flew out. Wavy snap ring to hold that in, pretty thick. Here is the Belleville spring. This is in good shape, but a lot of times these like to crack, so you want to inspect that. Then you would have a spacer that would sit on, and then the piston in here. Okay, so what I want to do is I just want to get a pause the camera for a sec, and I want to open up this. I want to get the snap ring out and take it over to the one of my other presses. and then we'll open this. I'll pull this thing out, put the camera back on, we'll pull this thing out. All right, so just give me one second here. Alrighty, so I got this out. Here is the setup for the forward drum, the spring seat, the spring, and the snap ring. Little snap ring here. Alright, so I'm going to pull this piston out, and let's see what we find. Okay. Alright, well the O-ring actually is, this one is okay, but this one, I don't know if you can see it, is torn right there. Right there and right there. So when the piston comes up and it returned, it tore it from the clutches wearing down. So that's the reason why we had no movement. Or very, very little in drive. But really, you know, if you let your foot off the gas, it would creep a little bit, but for the most part, it really wouldn't go. Okay, and now real quick for the valve body. I'm not going to pull the valve body apart because I really can't work on this now. There's so much other stuff to do. I did want to film this teardown though, but I'm going to have to put this aside now. The guy's going to be in soon, and got to rip out that 2011. That's a fleet truck we got to get done. Here's your tension plates on your valve body, your shift solenoid, your lockup solenoid, and then this plate also comes off a gasket. New gasket gets put here, and in this section right here, actually, you know what? Let me just okay, real quick. Nah, actually, I probably shouldn't. But anyway, this is the pressure regulator valve is right in here, and I like to put the Sonics one in because sometimes this valve is worn. Okay, you know what? We'll pull it down. Let me just pull these off here. Just this side, I'll pull down. Okay, we'll take the tension plates off. Pull the gasket out. And a plate. And let's see. I'll just pull this out. We'll look at it real quick. This is the pressure regulator valve and boost valve. Probably going to be in good shape because this transmission is in pretty good shape. Here's the little boost valve and sleeve. This normally is pretty good. Here is the spring. And let's take a look at this valve. Oh wow, this valve actually, I'm glad I took it out because now I can show you the wear on it. I'm hoping hoping the camera will pick this up. Right here, it's real shiny, and that's pretty much the only spot. The valve has a nice wear spot right here. And what happens is, as this thing is in, I believe what happens is the pressure pushes this valve up, and then it, you know, and then it works. So this is worn pretty good, right here. And then when I put the other valve in, the Sonics valve, it has the angular grooves in it that the oil goes around and keeps the valve balanced. So this valve is definitely worn, it's shot, and I'm going to have to change that valve. So we're going to put this aside so we don't lose anything. We'll have the check balls, we'll have the drain back. This is your drain back here. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 check balls in this valve body. Alright guys, so that's pretty much about it for this 2001 Ford Mustang 4R70W. I'm going to wash it up, put it aside, and probably this is going to be one of my weekend deals. So that's about it. I appreciate you watching. I ask that you please subscribe to the channel, and have a great day, everybody. We'll see you next one.